Joining us here now on the Rich Eisen Show is a man who knows Damar Hamlin and his family. He covers the Steelers and the Pittsburgh Panthers for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, also a host on 93.7 The Fan in Pittsburgh, PA. Paul Zeise here on the Rich Eisen Show. How you doing, Paul?
I'm good today, Rich. How are you guys doing out there?
Well, we're good too, and obviously sharing the same feeling you are right now that it appears that Damar has taken a turn for the better and has his neurological functions at first blush, and I'm wondering what's going through your mind right now, Paul.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. I actually was talking about that a little bit ago on my show. I think that when you have this kind of event, a cardiac event, I'm not a doctor or whatever, but I've talked to a number of doctors over the last few days because I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. But one of the most important things is your brain activity, and it depends on how long you were without oxygen and that kind of stuff. So the fact that it feels like, or it seems like, based on what they're talking about, is that his neurological capacities are intact. That's a great first step to, hey, he has a chance to make a full recovery, and I think that's what everybody's really holding out hope for is that when he gets through all this, and obviously there'll be a rehab process and all of that other stuff, that he's able to live a normal life again.
Well, this awful episode, incident, disaster, however you want to term it, has introduced Damar Hamlin's name to a lot of people. Let's introduce him best we can through you to a lot of people. Who is Damar Hamlin, and tell me about him.
Well, one of the things that I had the unique opportunity is not only did I cover Pitt, but my son was recruited and obviously played at Pitt for 5 years. And, for 3 of those years, Damar Hamlin was his teammate. And also, I coached my sons in a lot of their, when they were growing up in basketball and things of the such. And so we ran into Damar Hamlin and his family a lot, and you get, playing against them, things like that in basketball and whatnot. So I got to know them and I got to know the family very well. And I think I'll tell you, the thing that is, to me, so good is that his story is getting out there. This is a guy who is, every bit the great teammate that people are talking about him being. He's a giving person, obviously. When he was in college, he was trying to raise money for his hometown of McKees Rocks. He was trying to raise money for kids. He's a guy that basically was always willing to mentor younger players. His family is very involved in a lot of different community activities. And listen, I think that one of the things, obviously, if you know anything about his family, his dad Mario had some legal troubles. If you read anything about this family or anything about this family, they understand and they embrace it because they feel like obviously he's put it in his past and he's really become a good role model for a lot of other people to be able to say, hey, don't fall into what I fell into. And he's obviously been a really good dad to his son. But all of the things that you're reading and hearing about him as being a really just a warm, caring human being, and I'm talking about Damar, is true. And I think that, I was watching this with my son who played with Damar. And he literally, for almost 45 minutes, was silent, texting his Pitt teammates, just trying to, and my son's not one that really shows emotions, trying to really, because, he said, Dad, the thing is when you play college football, obviously every year, you're playing with, 104 other guys. There's a lot of guys that are just sort of faces in the crowd that you kind of know, or you kind of even don't even know because it's so big. And but Damar and I, we were friends. They started together on the same defense. They were in a lot of the same meetings. They spent time together. I got a chance when Pitt played in the Sun Bowl. It would have been my son's senior year. They played Stanford. I got a chance to spend some really good time with Mario. And I can just tell you, these are salt of the earth, really, really good people. So everything that you're reading, sometimes something like this happens, and people all will go way overboard to say how good of a person the person is, and then maybe those of us at home are like, I don't know. In this case, I can't emphasize enough that he warrants all of the warm regards and everything that people are giving to him.
I've got Paul Zeise here from Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette, host of 93.7 The Fan, a friend of the Hamlin family, also a man who's covered him and has known him for many, many years. So this is just when we booked you to come on the show, I wanted to make sure we knew who this young man was, certainly since all we're talking about him is being in the ICU and unresponsive or not responsive yet. And the fact that we get to talk when we're finding out he's squeezing the hands of his loved ones, and it's just awesome, man. I mean, the whole country, we've been on pins and needles for 72 hours, and we're hoping that this is a nice corner turned, Paul. So it's pretty cool we get to chat like this, No,
yeah, I will say this too. I think one of the things when I was talking with Damar actually at that Sun Bowl afterwards, and there was at that point probably still a lot of NFL scouts and things of the such who were not sold on Damar. And this is why I'm going to tell you, I'm betting on him to, make a full recovery, and he's going to beat this thing because there were a lot of people that this wasn't, Damar wasn't one of these guys that jumped off the map athletically and all that other stuff, and obviously there was questions about his size and things of the such. But, he basically made it very clear. Listen, people have been betting against me my entire life, and I'm going to continue to work, and I'm going to continue to be that guy that overcomes and proves everyone wrong. And certainly he has done that, in being able to be in the NFL. Mike Tomlin talked about it the other day when he was talking about the fact that this is a guy that made, hey, this is my dream. There's a lot of people that think that maybe I can't achieve this, but I'm going to prove them. I'm going to show them I can achieve this. And so that's sort of how he's built. That's how that family is built. And so that's why I really, I in my heart of hearts, I have no doubt that at the end of this thing, he's gonna beat it.
Before I let you go, what type of person is T.J. Jefferson, Paul? What do you?
T.J. Jefferson, honestly, is maybe the only person in my life that I know that I don't know anybody that dislikes T.J. That's the best compliment I can give T.J. Of course, he's obviously got a great personality and he's funny, but he's got a good heart, and that's I think one of the things that I don't know why he hangs out with me. But given that he's such a good person, but that probably speaks of volumes about him is that he does hang out with somebody like me.
You guys have known each other for a long time, huh?
Yeah, I was telling these guys, my mom dropped me off for college on a Saturday. I met him Sunday in the elevator, and
now here you are talking to each other.
90% of my best memories pre-LA are involving this guy. We've been up and down the road. We've been through a lot together, so this is really cool. And, it stinks that it took something like this to have it happen, but I'm, putting that to the side, it's great to have this moment, unfortunate circumstances.
Well, that's pretty cool. Well, maybe, Paul, we'll have you back on if the Steelers make the playoffs. Unfortunately, though, I think that it requires the Jets have to win a football game, and I personally know that that's very difficult to maybe be in that position for the last month, but it's been a nice run.
That would be great. That would be great, but I think that Skylar Thompson might help the Jets. We'll see.
Well, no, who knows? Hey, before I let you go, Paul, as you pointed out, family salt of the earth, and which is great to hear from you, and the way that the situation that they've been handling it with grace and with the proper amount of privacy while letting all of us in best they can in a fluid situation. And I know that they're very private, but I sure would love to know if they can maybe have a camera on the young man when they tell him that the GoFundMe page for their charity has over $7 million in it right now. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. That would be incredible. And again, I think that speaks a lot about the fact that we focus so much on the bad and the negative, but there's still a lot of really good people with good hearts in this country and all over the world, really. And sometimes we don't focus on them enough.
Well, thank you for allowing us to focus on Damar Hamlin, the individual, the person, and the soul and the heart that is, thank goodness, getting better. So thanks for the time, Paul.
All right. Thank you, guys.
All right, brother.
Pittsburgh Post-Gazette columnist, 93.7 The Fan host, and friend of T.J. Jefferson, Paul Zeise, here on The Rich Eisen Show. Catch The Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.